1953, a sidewalk in Shreveport, Louisiana on a Saturday afternoon. A woman walks on the left side of the street. A man walks on the right. They do not look at each other. They do not speak. They have been married for 6 years. They will not stand next to each other until the front door of their rented house closes behind them tonight. The last couple who forgot that rule in this parish was dragged from their porch at midnight. These were not customs. They were survival instructions written in silence by people who carried a kind of love most Americans were never asked to prove. Number 20. You never walked side by side in public. In any town with white eyes watching, an interracial couple did not walk together on the same sidewalk. Same pace, same direction, same block was enough to draw a stare that turned into a phone call. The practice distance was 10 feet, sometimes 15. She crossed to the other side of the street. He slowed near the barbershop window. One glance in the reflection of the glass that lasted exactly 1 second. Main Street on a Saturday in Selma or Macon had eyes in every storefront. Side streets were safer. Alleys were best. They learned the distance that kept them alive. And they walked it every single day without once reaching for the hand 15 feet away. Number 19. The white partner always drove. A black man behind the wheel with a white woman beside him was not a traffic violation. It was a provocation that ended in handcuffs or worse. She drove the 1952 Ford Custom Line every time. County lines were memorized because a different county meant a different sheriff. Some wrote down license plates at intersections just to check later. She drove, not because she wanted to, because his hands on that steering wheel next to her was enough to end both of their lives. Number 18. You kept separate addresses on every piece of paper. Even if they shared a bed every night, both names appeared at different addresses on every document. Voter rolls, employment forms, mail delivery. A rooming house address on the black side of town listed on his pay stub. $3 a month for a mailbox, nobody opened. Rent paid in cash under one name. Her name on the lease. His name nowhere near it. 2 addresses for one family. 2 lives on paper for one life behind closed doors. That was the cost of being left alone. Number 17. You never shared a meal in a restaurant. Interracial couples did not sit at the same table in any diner or lunch counter in the Jim Crow South. Not once. He ate at the colored window around back, a sandwich in wax paper, a bottle of Royal Crown Cola from the filling station cooler, 5 cents. She sat inside at a table for one. Her husband ate a cold ham sandwich in a parked Buick 2 blocks east. Every supper they ever shared happened behind a locked door. Years of marriage and not one public meal together. Number 16. You had a cover story. Rehearsed like scripture. Every interracial couple kept a prepared explanation for why they were seen near each other. She is my employer. He does work on the property. She rents the back room. The employer's story required her to speak first and never look at him as an equal in front of a white witness. The handyman story required him to carry a prop, a rake, a pair of shears, something visible that explained his presence on her street. If a neighbor appeared, his posture changed in 2 seconds flat. They rehearsed their LI the way other couples rehearsed anniversary plans. And they performed it every time a white face turned in their direction. 5 rules in, and every one of them is about the same discipline, erasing yourself in public so you can exist in private. These couples did not fight the system with marches. They fought it by lasting, by waking up every morning inside a life the state called a felony and choosing it again before breakfast. That is not weakness. That is the most stubborn kind of love this country has ever produced. Number 15. Children were told what to call the other parent in public. Mixed-race children were coached on what name to use for each parent depending on who was listening. Daddy at home, sir at the market, mama behind closed doors, ma'am in the grocery aisle, a 5-year-old reaching for her father's hand on a sidewalk in Jackson, Mississippi and being gently redirected. If someone asks, say he works for your mother. The moment a child first understood why she could not call her father by his name in the same town where every other child did. A child who cannot say daddy on a public street has already been taught everything the Jim Crow South wanted to teach. Number 14. Sunday morning was spent apart. Sunday was the most segregated hour in the country. Interracial couples could not risk a single shared pew. She sat fourth row at First Baptist on Elm Street. He stood in the back at Mount Zion AME 5 miles across town, both praying to the same God. No shared hymnal, no hands clasped during the closing prayer. They worshiped the same Lord from opposite sides of a county line the Lord never drew. Number 13. The black partner never answered the door. If anyone knocked at the white partner's home, the black partner vanished, back bedroom, closet, out the rear screen door before the second knock. The neighbor who dropped by with a casserole dish and no warning. The Avon saleswoman, the census man with a clipboard. The particular sound of boots on a front porch that could be a salesman or a deputy. A life organized around the 10 seconds between the first knock and the second. He lived in that house. He paid for that house. He could not exist in it when the front door was open. Number 12. You traveled separately and pretended not to know each other. On Greyhound buses, the couple sat in their assigned sections, her in the front 7 rows, him behind the line in the rear. A bus from Montgomery to Nashville. The green book on his lap marking safe stops. Mrs. A.N. Johnson's tourist home in Chattanooga, 40 cents a night for a clean room and no questions. She read a magazine in row 3. He stared forward for 400 miles. 400 miles on the same bus, eyes forward, not one word. That was the fare for going home together. Number 11. All photographs were hidden or destroyed. No photograph of the couple together could exist where anyone outside the household might find it. One image in the wrong hands was a confession. A single photograph in a shoebox at the back of a bedroom closet. She is sitting in a metal lawn chair. He is standing behind her with one hand on her shoulder, both smiling. No date on the back because a date made it evidence. No copy because a copy was a second witness. One image hidden for 30 years. Some couples had no photograph at all. The only proof their family existed as a family was the family itself. What the law could not punish, it tried to erase. Not just the couple, the proof, the record, the image of 2 people standing together in their own backyard as though that was an ordinary thing to do. Every photograph hidden behind a winter quilt was an act of defiance. Every one destroyed was a piece of grief disguised as caution. The empty page in the family album is not a gap. It is a scar. Number 10. The only safe public space was a black one. The only places an interracial couple could exist together in the open were black-owned businesses and black neighborhoods. Juke joint 3 miles past the last street light outside Baton Rouge on a Friday night. Fats Domino on the jukebox, 15 cents a dance. A bartender who poured without looking twice. The couple's first public dance on a plywood floor in a cinder block building off a dirt road. The only place they were allowed to be married in public was a place most of white America pretended did not exist. Number 9. The white partner's family was often gone for good. White families who discovered the relationship frequently disowned the white partner on the spot. No conversation. Door closed and locked. A letter postmarked Yazoo City, Mississippi, 1954. 3 sentences from a father. You are no longer welcome in this house. Do not write. Do not telephone. A family Bible with a name crossed out in ink so thick it bled through to the page behind it. No funeral invitation. No Christmas card. No telegram when the grandchild was born. She did not lose her family because she did something wrong. She lost them because she loved someone they refused to see as a person. Number 8. If stopped by law enforcement, you denied everything. If a sheriff questioned them together, the rehearsed answer was instant denial. She is my employer. He is a stranger, never husband and wife, a county sheriff in rural Mississippi pulling a car to the gravel shoulder at 9 on a Tuesday night. Flashlight sweeping the front seat. Where are you heading? What is your relation to this man? The white woman saying he is doing some repair work on the house without a tremor in her voice. The black man staring at the dashboard with both hands visible on his knees. 30 seconds of lying to a man with a badge was the difference between going home and going to Parchman Farm. 30 seconds of lying to a man with a badge was the difference between going home and going to Parchman Farm. Number 7. You never raised your voice near each other in public. Any visible conflict between an interracial couple drew attention that could turn deadly in minutes. A disagreement swallowed whole in the parking lot of a Piggly Wiggly. Neither one raising a voice because a raised voice between them was not a marital spat. It was a public incident. One white bystander deciding a black man was threatening a white woman. One phone call to the sheriff. Other couples had the luxury of an argument in a parking lot. These couples had the discipline of swallowing it whole and carrying it home in silence. Number 6. You kept a bag packed at all times. Interracial couples in the Deep South kept a suitcase ready and a contact in a northern city at all times. A leather suitcase under the bed with 2 changes of clothes, $30 in cash, and a Greyhound schedule folded inside a Bible. A cousin's address in Chicago in a coat pocket. Birmingham to Louisville, 14 hours. Jackson to St. Louis, 11. The understanding that if a neighbor made a call, there would be no hearing. Just handcuffs or a mob. They kept a packed suitcase the way other families kept a fire extinguisher, not hoping to use it, just knowing it was there. 14 rules deep, and not one of them has been about love. Every single rule has been about staying alive. That is what the law did to these families. It turned a marriage into a military operation. It turned a home into a safe house. And it asked 2 people who wanted nothing more than to build a life together to build a fortress instead and live inside it without making a sound. The fact that any of these marriages survived is not a miracle. It is proof of something the courts could not outlaw, no matter how many statutes they wrote. Number 5. You watched your own street like a guard post. Couples memorized the daily schedule of every person on their block. Who left for work at what time? Who sat on the porch at dusk? Who talked? The woman 3 houses east who hung laundry every morning at 7:15. The mail carrier who arrived at 11 and liked to linger. He entered through the back door when the street was clear. She checked the curtain before turning the lock. They knew their neighbors' routines better than their neighbors did, not out of friendliness, out of survival. Number 4. You could not be sick together. If one partner fell seriously ill, the other could not be at their side. A white hospital would not allow a black visitor past the front desk. A colored hospital would not admit a white patient without questions that led to worse questions. A man waiting in the parking lot of a hospital he was not permitted to enter. His wife on the second floor, or in the white ward, the payphone on the corner where he stood at 9 every night waiting for someone to hold the receiver near her bed so he could hear her breathing. In sickness and in health, those were the vows. The state honored neither one. Number 3. The marriage itself was a crime. Anti-miscegenation laws in every southern state meant the wedding certificate was a criminal document. Couples who wanted legal recognition had to leave their home state to get it. A drive to Washington, D.C. in a borrowed car. A courthouse ceremony with no family present. Richard and Mildred Loving made that drive in June of 1958. Married on the 2nd, returned to Caroline County, Virginia. 5 weeks later, the sheriff walked into their bedroom at 2 in the morning with a flashlight and a warrant. The marriage license from D.C. was hanging on the wall. Virginia used it as evidence, a framed marriage certificate on the wall of their own bedroom, used as proof of a crime. Number 2, you could not mourn each other in public. When one partner died, the surviving partner could not grieve openly. No funeral, no obituary listing, no seat at the graveside. A woman standing behind a magnolia tree 200 yards from the cemetery in Meridian, Mississippi, watching her husband's casket lowered into red clay through the branches. His family at the graveside not knowing she existed. The minister saying he is survived by, and her name not among them. The drive home to a house that still smelled like his aftershave. Pinot Clubman, 40 cents a bottle. The scent on the pillowcase she refused to wash for 6 months. She buried a husband she could never claim. And the world recorded his death as if she had never been alive. Number 1. You had to love in complete silence and call it enough. The final rule, the one underneath all the others. You loved someone the state said you were forbidden to love, and you did it without a single witness. A kitchen table at 11 on a Wednesday night. The overhead light off. A single bulb above the stove. Ray Charles singing I Got a Woman through the static on WLAC out of Nashville. 2 cups of coffee going cold. Her hand resting on top of his under the small circle of light. No wedding photograph on the mantel. No anniversary at a restaurant. No reunion where both families sit in the same room. And the way she said his name when the house was empty. Soft. Like she was saying it for the very first time, every single time. They did not get to be brave in public. They did not get to be ordinary. They got a kitchen table, a locked door, and each other. And they decided it was enough, and they were right. 20 rules, everyone written in silence by people who were never asked to be courageous but were. Not by choice, by necessity. The laws changed in 1967 when the Supreme Court ruled in Loving versus Virginia. The rules took longer to disappear. Some of them never did.